Hey everybody, this is Miss Florida Hot Picks here, giving you guys another pick four workout. Are you guys still trying to find out where the hottest numbers on these type of rundowns and how to get the hottest hits for your state? Well, guess what? You're at the right place. I want to share with you how to use something simple as a rundown and how to place your eyes in a certain position on the rundown and how hot numbers can formulate in those special areas. So make sure you guys grab a pen and paper and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to start with the first example from Mississippi, March 11th midday. The hit was 0388. Okay, so you notice here we have the rundown. We have to figure out how to put the 3175 rundown together. Now the first thing we have to do is we have to add each of these numbers down the columns. Okay, so for the first column we're going to add 3 all the way down. So 3 plus 0 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12. When we get to our 2-digit numbers, only use your 1s plus your 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, just use your 1, 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 plus 3 is 10, use your 0. Okay, so the number you start with will be the number you end with. And then simply you would add 1 all the way down the second column, 7 all the way down the third column, and 5 all the way down the fourth column. Okay, once you have all of that together, I want you to keep your eye on your left columns. Okay, your first 2 columns here, your left side. Sometimes there'll be mirrors here, sometimes there'll be doubles. Now you see on the right side, you got this 3, 3, and you got an 8, 8. Well, this time on the left side, you have what we call mirrored numbers. Now pay attention to this, guys. This 2 and 7, they're actually the same number, they're just opposite. It's almost like saying 2, 2 or 7, 7, but they can be switched out for one another, okay? Let's talk about mirror numbers because you may see more of these, okay? 0 could be a 5 or 5 could be a 0. 1 could be a 6, 6 could be a 1. 2 could be a 7, 7 could be a 2, okay? 3 could be an 8, 8 could be a 3. 4 could be a 9, and a 9 could be a 4. Those are some of the other mirror numbers. You might need them in the future, so if you don't know what they are, be sure to jot those down, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight my mirrors. Like I said, sometimes these could be doubles. Right now we're looking at mirrors, okay? I noticed from Mississippi that the mirror numbers on the left side may coincide with a particular date. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, and we'll talk about that once we look at how the numbers revolved around this particular date, okay? With Mississippi, I noticed they're using the second column for like the first 3 numbers, okay? Some states may do that. Some states may use the first column down. Sometimes they're up. You got to start looking at your positions of numbers, okay? I noticed with Mississippi, they have some consecutive numbers of some sort, you know, in the hit. So pay close attention to that as well. What are we talking about with consecutive numbers? Like 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They'll have some type of combination for at least the first 3 numbers. And they may not be in a particular order that you can find just yet, but pay close attention when you're looking at these, okay? So that second column could be a very powerful column for you guys for your first 3 digits, okay? So I'm going to start looking like 890, right? I'm going to write that down. First 9 digits, or first 3 digits, 890, 890. I've seen them go all the way down like 8901, and then I've seen them go kind of across this way, 8905, okay? However, they may use some of the other numbers on the other side to connect as a 4th digit. So you're gonna have to pay close attention, Mississippi, to that. Now, that's just a few numbers. You can add more, because this is pick 4, be careful, okay? But just make sure that you understand, hey, the first 3 numbers could be right underneath these mirrors here on your left side, okay? But I don't want you just to stay on this part of the rundown, okay? I want you to also look at your mirrors. 2, 7, halfway down the rundown, or past the halfway point, all of the numbers are just mirrors. So just like we started with 0388, it mirrors itself 5833. So notice how this was a 2-7, but now it becomes a 7-2. I'm going to write the next 2 lines. I'm just going to extend the rundown. Sometimes you have to do that. 3, 4, 5, 3. And then we're going to go the next line down. 6, 5, 2, 8. Okay? All right. So I needed to do this because I need to see what's on the bottom here. So again, I'm going to take that first 3 numbers. Notice how it was 890 here. But when we mirror it, it becomes 3, 4, 5. All right. So I need to do one more line. Hold up. 9, 6, 9, 3. Okay. So either I'm going to take them all the way down, like 3, 4, 5, 6. And like I said, they may not be in those orders when they hit, right? Or 0, 3, 4, 5. They could do other 4th-digit numbers. Just pay close attention to what the state of Mississippi is throwing out. Well, what actually happened the day later in the evening time was 3054. So where's that hit at? 0354. Notice now a couple of things. I want you to make sure that you're paying attention that the numbers were underneath, right? There are some states they may pull over. It just depends. Pay attention if they're using columns for the first 3 numbers, and sometimes they're veer off to the left or to the right for the 4th number options. These are those little things that I like to pay close attention to, especially when I'm looking for like easier hits, right? Easier patterns. But so the 0345 was right here, okay, right in this area. Now I want you to pay attention to something. Remember, we were talking about a date number, okay? Not date sum. We're not talking about date sums. We're just simply talking about a date number, okay? When did these hit, guys? We just said it. March 12th. I want you to pay attention to your 2. This is your date number, okay? Not date sum. I know people like to use that, but pay attention to your date number here for a second. 2, if you notice here, these are 2s and 7s, right? This was your date number indicator, telling you guys in Mississippi there's a possibility when these numbers are the hottest. Okay, I'm not saying that they're going to always do this. Sometimes you're going to have to use numbers and play them for a couple days if you choose to do so. I cannot tell you what to do or how to play them. Can't even tell you the order, but pay close attention. Start figuring out when these numbers hit. Is there some type of indicator to tell you when to play these particular numbers? That could be very helpful to you. And every state is different. Sometimes they use date sum numbers. Sometimes there's indicators and other things as well. So start paying close attention to what's going on. I got one more example. I want to bring this home so you get a clear example of exactly how to keep the patterns going. And like I said, you won't see this every day, but pay attention to the dates that are coming up. Notice this hit March 11th, right? So if you see a date that's coming up, you may want to pay attention to that pattern. I noticed they're like closer. If you see them for the day before, that could be telling you that that's the particular pattern, but you're going to notice more patterns for your state. This is just a simple, straightforward, because there's other indicators and other patterns you're going to have to start searching for if you like to look at different types of hits, okay? Notice this hit didn't have any doubles, but there were mirrors, so pay close attention. Notice there was a 05 in there, okay? So when you're selecting numbers, pay close attention if they're pulling stuff like that. All right, the 345, and maybe any of these numbers where it's mirror, that could be telling you something too. It just depends. Just start paying attention to that. So go ahead and give me that like real quick. I so appreciate you, but I need to show you one more. Okay. All right. So now we have March 11th evening. Okay. So we have 4534. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the left side. Now there's mirrors once again. Sometimes they're doubles, sometimes they're mirrors. So we're going to go ahead and look at 3-8 and 8-3. And if I know any better, I'm going to have to extend my rundown because I'm going to need to see what the next two columns are. So I'm going to go ahead and extend that down right now. And 0774. Okay. Whenever it cuts you off, you can, that's what they call it, a rundown. You can continue it down. Okay. So we're going to copy the same patterns. Okay. I noticed, even though this is 11th, I know March 3rd could be coming up. This could be something to look out for. Okay. Again, pay attention. Make sure you're keeping a daily log of your workouts so you can start to train your eye to spot these things. Okay. So we're going to just use the same pattern. We're going to copy the same thing. We're going to go to our second column. Okay. And we're going to take the first three numbers down. Okay. So 901. Okay. 901. Now you can go 9012, 9016. Okay, and if you wanted to use some of the other numbers here, by all means do so. Okay, so we don't just stay there. We're going to go to the mirrors. Why? The numbers are going to slightly change. Okay, you ever heard people saying, oh man, I almost had it, but I didn't play the mirror version of that number? This is where that comes from. Okay, so once you guys, I'd rather you know more than less and miss simple hits if you don't have to. Now, in case I didn't give you your disclaimer at the beginning, I probably forgot, I don't guarantee hits on the channel or the membership. So I want you guys to make sure you practice on paper first. Okay, all right. So now we're going to go here, 4, 5, 6, 7, go all the way down. I noticed that 7 repeats itself as well. And then 1, 4, 5, 6. All right, same thing with this 2. I noticed that 2 repeats itself on this first column. Those could be some of your hottest numbers, anything that repeats. Hint, 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 hint. Well, guess what happened? March 13th, it took 2 days. But pay attention to this date number as well, 0192. Okay, so we could have caught it this way, just going straight down. Or if we were to use any of the other column numbers, we could have caught it that way as well. 9012, 912, 9012. Okay, so anything that repeats on any of these columns, pay attention. Like I said, I've seen them go under, but if you want to use other numbers, definitely do so. Okay, so let's talk about the date indicator. Okay, because again, this showed up March 11th. And the thing is, it's like, hey, when are these numbers best to play, right? So you don't have to keep playing them every day, but be careful with that. I have indicators, and they won't go by the indicators. They'll play when they want to play. That's the trickery, and this is why you have to be aware of that. So if you can narrow down how many numbers to even play, that's even helpful. That's why I want you guys to pay attention for Mississippi days going forward. Pay attention to what they're doing, because if you have the same areas that they're looking in, that can help you eliminate how many numbers to play. And if they decide not to use the date number indicator and you want to just rock those out for a few days, that's totally up to you. Most good players, they play their numbers for a few days. I know people like the next draw, the next hit. I get all that. But sometimes that doesn't work out that way. Sometimes they're waiting to see how patient you guys are going to be and still play those numbers. Okay, but the date indicator 3-8 on our left side matched the date where it came out. It happened to do that. This is why I said start training your eyes, start looking at things. Once the hits come, a lot of people don't like backtracking. They hate it. They just want to know what the new numbers are going to be. But what good is that if you don't have a pattern to follow? Because if you don't start training your eye to look in certain parts, you'll be all over the board trying to pick numbers. Do you know how many combinations you may have to come up with and still not get a hit? That's not cool, right? Start training your eye for your state. Start looking, take your time, okay? They don't mind you spending your money. They don't mind you losing your money. I got it. But you better mind your pockets and start becoming a better thinking player. Okay? That's the goal for the channel. I hope this information was helpful. Definitely leave your girl a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And if you like deeper workouts for our pick 3 predictions, pick 3 games, definitely hit us up. We'd love to have you in the membership. I'll have a link in the description. And you guys have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.